Hello, everybody. Welcome to Repeater. My name is Evan, and this is
Pat.
He got it.
I forgot for a second.
Yeah, he forgot his name. Today on the show, we welcome comedian and performer at the Magnet Theater and with Story Pirates, Abby Russell. Abby, hello.
Hello.
Hi. I just want to let everyone know I'm recovering from a head cold, so I'm sorry.
And we want to let everyone know that we appreciate that Abby came out to do this episode.
It's true.
Yeah, I am
regardless.
the real hero of this episode.
Yes.
Please say so in the comments below. This is on YouTube, right?
Yeah, this will be on YouTube.
Okay,
We're filming this right now in 360, and everyone's going to really dig it.
Okay, cool.
No, Abby is joining us today to talk about a song that she likes or that means something to her, because that's what this show is about. So, Abby, what song did you want to talk about today?
I chose St. Vincent's Paris is Burning.
I love it. Let's listen to a clip right now.
And trumpets spit the soot of power, they say. I'm on your side when nobody is, 'cause nobody is. Come sit right here and sleep while I slip poison in your ear. We are waiting on a telegram to give us news of the fall.
That's just a taste.
Yeah.
There's way more to that song.
Suck on that, guys.
And it's a great song.
flavor. Thank
it's a
you.
spooky
I didn't
song.
write it, but
Right.
yeah, this is one of those things where
Congrats
like,
to you.
I'm sure all of your guests say this, but I feel like it's so scary to be like, here's a song I like, because I feel like people are so judgy about music.
Yeah, people are. And I do think we get that a lot. Like, people try to pick songs that they won't be judged for.
Right.
But we try to have a low judgment bar.
That's
A low
good.
bar of judgment. I don't think that phrase makes sense, even though I said it two different ways.
I understand what you're saying.
But I think people get what I'm going for.
Yeah, that's not what you're stepping in.
Exactly. You're picking up what I'm throwing out.
I don't know any more of those.
Why this song?
Well, I don't know. This is the first song I thought of when you asked me, but I guess because I feel like around the time I was listening to this song was when I was like really getting into music. I had like just moved right before my sophomore year of high school. So I really didn't know anyone, and I really didn't have any friends in high school until I kind of like later, like my senior year basically. So I like got really into music and like really keeping up with music, and I was like playing the piano and the guitar. And this song was one of the first songs I really taught myself on the guitar.
Oh, cool.
And kind of was like excited to do it, and sort of like spiraled, and like all these other songs I sort of figured out how to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you moving from, and where were you moving to?
I was moving from Alexandria, Virginia, which is like just outside of DC, to Cambridge, Massachusetts. Yes.
And that would have been, what was that, like mid high school or beginning
That
of high
was the summer
school?
before my sophomore year.
Oh man. So yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, it sucked. It was also like my sister had just gone off to college, so it was
Yeah.
like just me and my dad and his girlfriend, which was like fine. I like got along well with them, and like I don't know, maybe more independent, which is good. And
Yeah.
I think I kind of grew up a lot because of it. But it was also one of those things. I don't know. It's also one of those things where like I'm glad I have improv and comedy stuff now, because I sort of found improv to be more proactive about meeting people. And whereas in high school when I moved, I kind of like retreated into myself versus like going out and talking to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
And I
sense.
guess
That
I kind
makes
of-
a lot of sense.
Yeah, I retreated into like music, especially. Like I remember I would like listen to music like walking from class to class. It was like 5 minutes, but whenever I was like not engaged in class, I was like, I'm putting my headphones on.
Yeah, you could fit a song in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's the age to like that's the age to get obsessed with stuff,
Yeah,
and
totally.
also to I think to like be what's the word I'm looking for? It's like not really being introspective and not, but like that idea that you described of turning inward. I feel like that's a really common thing
Yeah.
for teenagers in general, much less like new to a school sort of thing.
Yeah, totally.
One thing that occurs to me though about you saying this is that like when Pat and I were in high school, I think the version of this would have been a lot of like emo music and stuff like that, and I'm sort of just like jealous that you were around just a little bit later, and like the cool
cooler
music
wave.
was like
Well,
much better.
I almost picked, because in middle school I was like very into Fiona Apple, so that was
Also
what
great.
was going to come
Also
before this.
Yeah.
Because I used to carry around a Walkman or Discman with me.
Yeah.
With the door on the top was broken, so I had to kind of finagle it and whatever. And I carried around like a binder of CDs with me, so at lunch I could go outside. I lived across the street, but I would go to the park and
I
like
also
sit in
lived
the
across
park.
the street, and it was amazing.
It was amazing.
But it was also like I never had lunch with people.
Oh,
like I would
yeah.
just go sit at home alone, which is like great. But
I live down the street. We all lived
Oh,
really close
I
to our high
know.
schools.
Ew.
I couldn't go out. I couldn't go home though without getting in trouble.
oh, I was technically, it was so stupid. You were technically like allowed to leave campus to like these sort of like the block within the school. There were like a couple of places you could eat at, but like they would yell at me for going to my house, which was insane. So I would like have to
I
like
had the
sneak
same
there.
thing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like crazy, but I'm like, it's just as far as this place next door.
We had a fire drill. Went outside in front of my parents' house, my house at the time, you know. And so I went and just sat on the lawn, and I got in trouble for that. They're like, you can't do that. I was like, yes, I can.
Live
That's
here.
my dad.
I have the keys. Yeah.
So did you get really into St. Vincent in general?
Oh yeah,
You
totally.
kinda-
I'm still really into St. Vincent. I like her a
still?
lot. Yeah.
I mean, she's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen her live a bunch of times. And seeing her live was like one of the first times. Like you hear people say like, "Oh, they're so much better live than on the album," and I was like, "What? That's insane! I don't understand how that could be." And then I saw her live, and I was like, "Oh, I totally get it. Like I see what everybody's talking about." Yeah,
Because you get like the loudness with
like
it.
the energy.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you know, it's sort of more spontaneous. It kind of feels like you're, you know, experiencing something that like only you know.
Right.
You know,
That's why you get along so well with Fish fans, right?
Absolutely. I don't think I could point out a Fish song if someone played it for me.
No one can. That's the secret, is that they're unidentifiable songs.
Perfect.
Oh my God. I remember one time I thought I was being low key shopping for an acoustic guitar. And after like 10 or 15 minutes in the store, the guy walks over to me. He's like, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" And I was like, "No, I'm good. Just like looking at all these different guitars." And he's like, "Yeah, well," he's like, "you might want to be interested in something like this. I heard you playing a Fish song earlier." Like, and just like recommended a guitar based on the fact that he'd overheard of me playing a Fish song. And I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck me. I'm embarrassed, I guess."
Did you go with that guitar?
I don't know, to be honest.
Wow.
I can't remember.
I guess that's one of those things where like after you have like a traumatic incident, you like black it out of your memory.
Yeah.
No.
What was it about St. Vincent that like?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, well, I think her music's just good. I think it was also like kind of some of the first stuff I was listening to that felt like not necessarily like sort of genreless in a way, you know, like I think she is of a genre certainly, but she was kind of like my sort of stepping stone into like the indie music world, I think. So there was definitely that. And like learning her songs are super fun to play on the guitar.
Yeah.
I'm not like a particularly good guitarist, but I would just like look up all of these videos of her playing it and like figure out how to play, which was super fun, especially because like at the time I felt like I was the only other person who knew how to play this song. And like, I'm sure that wasn't true, but like, you know, when you're like 15 in high school, it's like, oh, I'm like sharing this special thing with this person. You know what I mean?
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And I would think around that time she was like new enough. It is one of those things where like, you're trying to look up how to play songs. It's like a lot of times the songs that are current aren't like that widely distributed in terms of like tablature and that
totally.
kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
there is something about like knowing a newer song that I think you feel that much more connected to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I did look up like tabs for it, and I looked up like tutorial videos, and there weren't any. I
Yeah.
wound up making my own
Yes.
for
That's
like a
awesome.
bunch of her songs. They're
You-
probably still up somewhere.
are the
maybe in
hero.
15.
You
Thank
are the hero.
As
Thank
we
you.
established at the top of this episode, you are the
Usually
hero.
when
of the
I would
story.
find the tabs that were like bad or wrong, I'm just like, well, guess I'm never gonna learn that song.
Yeah, and like I would get really frustrated because I would see like a shitty tutorial, or I would see something. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool, great. Anyway,
kids.
I would see like a crappy tutorial, or I would see something that was like not like inaccurate, and it would just make me want to have like the exact right way to do it more, and make me feel prouder for like figuring it out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does a lot of like instructional videos now.
St. Vincent does?
Oh my God, yeah.
Really?
And there's one that is horrible to try to describe in the audio medium, but she describes how she essentially does like these sweeping harmonics.
Oh, I think I have seen that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Does she also talk about how she would like play like above the, it's not the bridge, but it's like that point before where you like adjust the tuning.
The nut.
Is it the nut?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She would like play above the nut.
It gives off this like harpish kind of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she rules and she knows it. Like, I mean, like she is super talented.
Yeah,
she's kind of like
so good.
beyond, I don't know, she's like beyond a typical singer-songwriter or even beyond like the front person of a band, you know.
Yeah, totally. And I also think like being like a 15-year-old girl was especially exciting to watch her like fucking shred on the guitar and be like so good.
Yeah.
But like also still be like feminine and like very much like the lead of the band, you know, without being like a pop singer, which is like nothing wrong with that. But like as a 15-year-old girl, like that wasn't what I was interested in.
Yeah, I mean, she really seems to kind of do it all.
Yeah,
even
totally.
like even referencing sort of what you're talking about before with like the inlet to indie rock or whatever, it's like she probably at this point helps steer that genre and is like she is sort of a tentpole of it. Yeah, I would even argue, you know, so it's like, yeah, she kind of gets to do whatever the heck she wants. Right. And that's got to be cool. You know, if you're a fan, you're like, yeah, that's probably a very attractive thing about her.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's also weird, like, because I've seen her live a bunch, I haven't really seen her so much on her, like, later tours, but it's also weird seeing, like, the progression of all of her stuff, because, like, I remember her first tour, she would have, like, the 2 microphones. She would have, like, her one normal one, and, like, this weird condenser microphone that would, like, sound all distorted. And, like, she stopped doing that, and she kind of stopped with some of, I guess, like, gimmicky is not the best word, but some of the more gimmicky stuff. But now, like, on her latest tour, she has, like, choreographed dance moves. And, like, I feel like she plays the guitar much less. It's just, like, very interesting to see her sort of, like, grow up doing it as well, you know?
Yeah, because I associate her with just fuzz, like that really loud.
Yeah, like the crunchy, like.
Yeah, because the first thing I ever saw from her was her cover of Dig a Pony.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's singing through a harmonized mic and like that.
Yeah,
and it's great to see that she's gone, okay, I did that. Now I'm going to do these like robot dances.
And like she doesn't feel like she needs to be kind of married to that or married to like one style or one genre or like just sort of one way of playing, which I appreciate. And also what I think was interesting, I think, because that was that like one of the Dumbo sessions? I
think so.
Yeah, because like in one of the same sessions she did a cover of These Days, which is like such a good cover. And like I love, it's like a Nico song.
Yeah, it's a Nico song. I think that's by, like, from her
James
first
Brown.
EP.
Yeah, totally.
It's by Jackson Brown.
Jackson Brown, that's what it is, but she like, I love that she can have like these sort of kind of more tender songs, I guess, as well as like a Dig a Pony type of song or like a Crocodile or like Groat type of song, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. What else were you kind of like obsessed with at this age?
Ooh, boy. Oh man, what was I?
Or other artists or even like like I don't know if this is when I don't know if like film was a thing you got into at this age or whatever. I
mean, I had grown up watching films. I still love films. I have a film degree. So I definitely was like into films then too. I don't know. I think I also started really getting into video games more then. I've kind of always played games, but I feel like that was sort of when I was like getting a little more, not serious about it, but like I would actually like finish a game I started. I'm trying to think of like specifics. I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of stuff.
What is it about, like what rules about gaming?
Well, I feel like what's fun about gaming is like, one, you're like getting immersed into this world and like you're absolutely a part of it, but it's also like totally a storytelling and like art medium, which I feel like people don't really respect it as that, even though it totally is. Like you can look at games like The Last of Us, which is like very cinematic and very much like a story. And then you can also look at games like, oh boy, I don't know, like Firewatch or something, which is another sort of more cinematic story. But there's like these stories that really like move you. And I love the sort of storytelling aspect of it. But I also love playing games like inside where like the story isn't as on the surface. It's much more like, I don't know, it's sort of interpretive and more of like an art piece, I guess. Yeah. Do you guys play games?
No.
Okay. I know. I feel like I'm like referencing stuff that people are just like, oh, okay. And like,
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, I used to a lot, but, you know, working at an office and sitting at a desk all day has sort of, put a damper on my wanting to sit in front of a TV when I get home from sitting at a desk all day.
But you are now into RPGs a good amount, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's something I think that's probably similar.
That is true.
About getting in, playing something, obviously they're both
totally.
games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Participatory storytelling is kind of what it feels like lots of the time.
Yeah, totally. But I also think there's something to be said about like a game you play on the subway, Like, I don't think you can discount those just because they're short or they're sort of like quote unquote casual, I think they're absolutely part of like kind of the genre, and like you're a gamer if you enjoy those. I think most people are, they don't really think about it because they don't have an Xbox,
Sure. I think if anything, it's reframed how to think of like storytelling as like a whole.
Yeah.
Because like some of my favorite games recently have been very casual.
Yeah.
I played this one on PlayStation. I do not remember the name, but the whole point of the game is you run around and you collect these little tokens and your cape grows longer. And as your cape grows longer, you can jump higher and fly further.
Journey?
I think that's what it was.
Journey.
Yeah.
That's another really good like art game. It's
because
great.
then other players show up and they help you through, and they have this little symbol over their head, and that's that person, and you can't communicate past like pinging
little
them.
like chirps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like amazing too, especially because I remember the first time I played that game and like the other person showed up and I was like, I can't tell if this is a computer, I can't tell if this is like a real person, so there's like this real mystery of it. And like, because they are just random people online, I've like played with some people who are like more playful as they do it, and other people who are just like trying to grind through and get to the end of the story. It's only like a 2-hour long thing once you finish it. But yeah, Journey is very good.
That one was fascinating because the person that was helping me along the way, and just out of that little pinging, you could tell that this person was like very excited and wanted to help. And the way the game went, I lost them. And I had this moment, like this intense moment of sadness, because I was like, oh no.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's also interesting to play like once you've done it a couple times as the more experienced person and like sort of help mentor someone through it. It's like, I don't know. That is an example of like a game that is truly a piece of art. And like when people are like, games are stupid, games like are just a waste of time. I'm like, okay, well, you haven't played games then.
You haven't played the right ones.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
The last game I played was a like text game called Lifeline. This was like last year, maybe the year before. And now I'm like really paranoid that there's this new movie coming out called Life. And like I'm convinced that it is a ripoff of this game, and that the guy who made the game is not getting any like money.
Is it about
for it or
like
anything.
space stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So like Lifeline is like follows like this one character who encounters a planet or a ship, I think, that's abandoned, and he or she like they go down to the planet and like start to encounter these like green blobs, and you kind of learn that after times like, oh, those are the things that destroyed everything, that's why there's nothing left, right? And then Life, the movie that's coming out, is a crew, like a whole crew on a ship who encounter like this life form that starts as a cell and just like gets bigger and basically like looks like it becomes a blob.
Yeah.
That is like slowly attacking them and killing them. But the art, like the thing that's super convincing is that literally the poster art is like a rip-off of the app icon.
That's insane.
And I'm like, and it's Lifeline and Life. And it's like, if you're going to do it all so close, like you better be paying.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like a credit or like an adaptation or something.
That's I tried to look it up and people were like, the idea is just not even that original. So maybe it's like not. And so I don't, because it was also, I think, a little like indie the game company that like, I think just probably didn't have leverage.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool sounding game though.
Yeah. It was fun. It was like a text adventure. I just remember that I played it and it's like one of those things where I was like, it doesn't really feel like a game because everything I do works. Like it's like I get scared or like something happens, but then ultimately I'm fine. And I remember I told our friend Tony about it, and I was like, hey man, I've been like obsessed with this game, but I was like, it's not really a game as much as like a story that you're just walking through. And then he was like, okay, cool, I'll check it out. And then he died like 6 times in a row. And I was like, and he's like, what are you talking about? It's just not a game. And I was like,
you're too good.
I was literally like, I didn't think you could die. And he kept dying.
Amazing.
That's wonderful.
Abby, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been wonderful chatting. I know it's already over.
Can you call me a hero one more time?
You are a hero. Yeah. Where can people see you or find out what you're doing?
I'm actually leaving tomorrow for Iceland. So if you're going to go to the Iceland Improv Festival, come catch my improv
that's
team.
awesome.
Come catch Abby.
I'm sure this will air long after that's
Probably,
been done. So just Wednesdays at the Magnet or at like elementary schools across New York.
You got a Twitter handle?
Oh, yes, I do. Please follow me on Twitter. Dingleberry Finn.
Yep.
At
One
YBBAAABBY. It's my name backwards and then forwards with like another A added. Anyway, please follow me on Twitter. I'm always trying to get my numbers up. I'm also a hero on Twitter. Thank you.
Good.
Is always a hero.
Yes, thank you.
Now, after this next part, when I point to you, read what's on that Post-it note, okay?
Okay.
So we just want to thank everybody for listening. We want to thank Abby again for coming in.
Oh, wait.
No, I pointed to you prematurely. Isn't that the stupidest thing? I just didn't
You're,
follow
like,
my own
talking.
direction at all.
We've done this show before.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please, we would love you if you would subscribe and rate us and review us. All those little things help.
Tell Abby she's a hero.
Tell Abby she's a hero. Thank Abby if you see her for being a hero. And until next time,
Hit repeat.
Repeater is hosted by Evan Ford Barden and Patrick Cartelli. This episode was recorded at Magnet Training Center in New York City, where they offer classes in improv, musical improv, sketch writing, storytelling, and more. Find out more at magnettheater.com. Visit us online at repeater.show for live dates, hot music tips, and show archives. Theme music by the Sun Lions. Everything else by Love Nest Productions. Welcome to Repeater.